Greetings, friends, and welcome to Chapter 3 of Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John Maxwell. You'll recall that in Chapter 1, John gave us the definition of leadership, which is influence. Nothing more, nothing less, he says. In Chapter 2, Tom talked to you about the importance of priorities. And now, Chapter 3, John gives us the foundation of leadership, which is character. See, good character leads to good leadership. And the foundation of our character needs to be integrity, because it's integrity that leads to trust. And as I'm sure you'll agree, all good relationships are built on trust. Let me just give you a couple of quick examples. One negative. One that I worked with a guy one time that you never knew if he was going to show up where he said he was going to be or not. If you're going to have a meeting with him and someone else, maybe he would show up and maybe he wouldn't. You never really knew. You'd be at a conference somewhere expecting him, he wouldn't show up. So ultimately, he lost his job because the leadership, the senior leaders in the company couldn't trust him. On the other hand, I was fortunate to spend 15 years of my career with LTC Properties, which owns it's a real estate investment trust that owns senior living and housing properties all over the U.S. And during that 15 years, I became the vice president of marketing. And one of the things that made my job so easy is that during that time, I never heard one person who was either a customer or a prospective customer of ours say that anyone in our company had deceived or misled them in any way. And in contrast to that, one of our largest customers told me one time, he said, "Mark, LTC is always my first choice when I have a deal coming to me." He said, "I want to talk to them first." And I said to him, "Why are we your first choice? Because I know our competitors would also love to do business with you." And he said, "Well, that's easy, because I know if our CEO or your chief investment officer tells me something, I know that it's true. $150 million to our company based on integrity and trust." John talks about some of the key areas that help us in our character as leaders. One is authenticity. That's being real about what we do. It means we're not saying something and then doing something differently. You've probably heard it said that watch what people do, not just what they say, because you're looking to see if actions match talk, and if it does, we can trust that. But it's important to watch not only what people say, but what people do. Because anybody can talk a good game, but it's the actions that make the difference. Another critical component of being a good leader and developing character is leading ourselves. If we're expecting the people that we work with, that report to us, if we expect them to be honest, if we expect them to be positive, if we expect them to be responsible, if we expect them to have self-discipline, we need to model those things ourselves, and we need to manage ourselves or lead ourselves well, so then we can lead others well. John also talks about the importance of courage, and that's about taking risks and doing the right thing, even if there's a short-term pain associated with that. It's doing the right thing. We need to be people of courage. And finally, we need to be humble. I had a friend one time, he says, my greatest personality trait is my humility. Now, he was only joking, but But the point is that we do need to be humble. We do need to, we need to make our mistakes. People know we're not perfect. So admit our mistakes and focus on how we can improve, how we can lift people up. And finally, I think it's important as we embrace these good values that John talks about in this chapter, and we lead ourselves well, then we also need to focus on people, on adding value to people. Because when we add value to people, it doesn't diminish our value, but it's something that puts our character on display, showing people that we believe in them, we put trust in them, we lift them up and encourage them. Now, I've only been talking for 6 minutes. This is a shallow dive into a deep chapter. So I hope it's been meaningful to you. Lead yourself well. Be a person of a leader that has good values, demonstrates those good values to others. Be a person of integrity and value the people around you. Thank you for watching.